Hello and welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming. In this video, we're checking out the new Seraphon warband, which is kind of exciting. The Star Bloodstalkers. We finally get all the images of the models shown off and a few cards. We'll focus on the models themselves. I want this. This is probably a warband that everyone's excited for. We haven't had any new Seraphon models, or at least a range, you can call this a range, for a very long time. We have the video playing, but we'll talk about the warband itself. So, Star Bloodstalkers are composed of 4 skink hunters, a Saurus Old Blood, and led by a skink priest. The models are a massive step up, leaps and bounds beyond what the current range of the Seraphon is, by far. The Saurons are definitely a lot taller, a bit more imposing. I don't mind the Saurus model. I don't mind the old Saurus models, but definitely the skinks are just so much improved. The original skinks were, a bit of a joke. They're kind of these funny looking things. Even when they came out, was it the 90s when the first release was? Oh my god, I can't even remember. I was like, oh, the skinks, okay, all right. I guess we'll just have lots of skinks. These ones look like they're a bit more grown up. The older versions were a bit more childish, pre-pubescent teen-like. That's how I saw it. I saw them like almost children-like. And then you have the chameleons, which really fit that role with their giant eyes and their little spindly arms. Yeah, the skinks have spindly arms. I remember getting a skink model. I think when they first came out, they had a free one on the cover of White Dwarf, and I'm like, these things are tiny. They're so small. I imagine usually with Warhammer models, the scale does go up. You can compare the original Space Marines, probably a good example. The original Space Marines to, I guess, the last line of Firstborn Space Marines. Huge size. Same. I imagine it's going to be the same with these models. The skinks here look a lot bigger than their predecessors, which is fine. So does the Saurus. Saurus looks huge. And yeah, they are individual sculpts, but it does give me hope that we will see a new Seraphon range coming through soon. At least an updated range of models. I don't think it really needs to be a complete revamp of the range. Just there's always that debate between, well, why don't we just get a new army completely? Why bother just rehashing old models? I don't mind it. Skills and designs change and technology to make the pressings and all the molds are completely changed. So you can do a lot more things now that you couldn't do before. So we'll look at some of the cards as well. So we have Kixitaka's main card, his character card there. 2/2/2 close range, and then a 3/2/1 for some ranged. Pretty standard, pretty solid. Like, you get both options there. You inspire after an activation. Your warband holds 3 or more objectives. It looks like at the core of it's a very much an objective-based holding type warband. It does have an action. You can pick one feature token within 3 hexes, flip that feature token, or deal 1 damage to one enemy fighter within 1 hex of that token. The fighter can only make this action once per round. I like the cards or the abilities where you get options. I don't know what it is on the Inspire side. I haven't shown that yet. So some other cards, we've got Balance the Cosmic Equation. So this is a hybrid card. I don't know if hybrid was in last season or it's new for this season. I'm not 100% sure. So with this card, you can score this in an end phase if there are 2 or more enemy fighters out of action or your warband holds more objectives than any other warband. Again, you get the option. I love that. It's basically having 2 cards in your hand. And then we also get the Hunter's Steed. So you can +1 move to friendly fighters. This effect persists until the end of the round or until another player plays the Asterism card. Warbands are getting various different types of keywords. The original criticism I had of the first season was everything was very much the same. The second season improved that vastly, particularly with the introduction of spells and magic. I don't know what the third season was like, but it looked like there was a lot more variation, even down to the different types of different types of models in the warband itself, where before you would just have 3 Stormcast Eternals that were close hitters or ranged. But then you get other warbands that have some ranged, like some big hard hitters, like a giant hard hitter, and then some smaller ones that could move around and do what you need to do. Particularly the Goblin Warband, there was a lot of variation in that. So I definitely think they have learned over the years, like how to make this game far more interesting and far more dynamic and sort of definitely mixing up the meta with various different things. Oh, we also do have one more card, Void Spear, a card that they recommend, well, the Warhammer community recommends that when you play it, you have to cackle and just laugh because, look at what Dixie's doing there. You can discard all persisting gambits, so you would lose yours as well. It's a trade-off. But then you get a 3/3/1. Not the best attack, but you get 3 dice, and it's a 3 range, so that's fine. But on a critical hit, this attack has +1 damage, and then after make the attack, you discard the card, so it's a single use. Finally, we have this last image that is coming from the next warband, which, if I'm correct, it is what we believe to be the vampire ones. Now, I'm rethinking if it's vampires, to be honest. I have a theory that it might be a warband of vampire hunters. We saw if you check the last video out where they did the New Year's Day reveal, 2 models in there. One is a vampire hunter without a doubt. Another is almost an undead type thing, but it has a similar aesthetic to it when it comes to the clothes. This model, it has that sword that we've seen, I think, in the Rumor Engine. That's sort of like this ornate, more piratey type thing. This is where, bear with me, I'm going with it. What if this warband is a vampire that has turned away from its vampirish ways and is actually become a vampire hunter itself? Highly unlikely, but I'm just thinking about these models that were revealed a couple of days ago. It's a possibility. Who knows? Let me know what you think down below. It's a weird thought. Could be completely wrong. I probably will be. I just wanted to get that out of my head because I find it really interesting. There we go. New Seraphon warband. Seen off some new cards. Looks like some new mechanics. That's it. Let me know below what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.